Welcome back. So now in this video we will be working right in this onPress event, but before that we're gonna go and simply create some methods and then we will use right in this onPress event. So let's go ahead and above the widget build, as you guys can see in here, widget build. So above that we're gonna create methods. Okay, the first one that we will simply create, it's gonna be for updating the profile name of a user on their existing post. So we're gonna create that specific method right in here. Give the name as update profile name on existing posts, and this will be asynchronous. So in here async, then curly braces, take this down, and in here make the spelling right, small o, and all good, as you guys can see. Now we will simply just pass the old user name right to this specific method. Okay, let me just show you that we just have it right in there and create it. Okay, this one, old username. So we're gonna simply pass that right to this specific method that we are about to create in here. Let us go ahead and do it. So in here we will say old user name, all just fine. Now we're gonna create an instance right towards the Firebase Firestore, right towards the collection items, and from there we will get it. Okay, simply the user name on their existing post. So what I'll do first in here, since it's asynchronous, so in here we will say await, and then let's go ahead and we will say Firebase Firestore dot instance. Let's create that instance in here right towards the collection items. We're gonna simply get it right from this specific collection by the name items. So in here you will also say dot var. Let's get this down from here so that you guys can see it easily. Okay, so in here we will also just check the specific ID of a current user. Okay, so if that ID in here first string and then we say ID, guys, the key name must be similar. Okay, right in the Firebase Firestore, right in the collection of items, and in here I just put it ID. Okay, so make sure it must be same, otherwise it will not just get it. So in here ID we'll say if this equals to toward the Firebase auth in here, now just let me in here create the instance. So in here we'll say that. Now just click on that Firebase auth and import the library, which is Firebase auth dot. Simply import that. As you guys can see, the error has been gone now. So in here we're creating that instance toward the Firebase authentication for the specific current user. So in here we will say current user, the null check, and with their specific UID. Okay, so as you guys know already, we are creating that instance right toward the Firebase Firestore to the specific collection items, and where the ID will be equal to the specific current user UID. Okay, we're gonna simply then just get the username in this case. Okay, now let's just go ahead and we will say dot get and get the name now. So in here get this down so that you guys can see it easily, and then we say dot then. So in here we will simply just remove that and write it and semicolon, put it, and in there we will just remove that value and we will just have a snapshot. It simply means that if there going to be any kind of data, then only in that case we will just get the username. So in here we will have that snapshot. It simply means if it's contain the data. So in here snapshot, and then in here curly braces, take this down from here. And now in here, for example, the user will upload certain kind of post right in their specific account. So for that specific purpose, what we will do, we will simply just create the logic and we will have a for loop. Simply we will just get an access to the every post of a user that the user will upload, and simply we will just then update the username on that specific existing post. So what we will do in here, let's have the for loop in here, and then we will create a integer type index. Okay, we will just give the initial value 0, so it's gonna just start it from the 0th index and just check the existing post of a user. It will just get an access to the every post of a user and just update the username as I told you already. So in here, let's start it from 0, and then in here semicolon, and then in here we'll say index if that less than what the snapshot, okay, the data with their specific document, and then the total length in here. It simply means that all of the posts of a user with their total length, it's gonna just get that, okay, to the every post of a user, and we will check it one by one and just then update the username on their existing posts. As you guys know, it is going to start from the 0th index. Okay, so we are doing that in here. Now let's go ahead. In here we will simply just increment the index. Okay, so for incrementing we will just put in here ++. Okay, it's gonna just first check the post on a 0th index, then it will just complete the process and it will come back and then increment the value. So it's gonna then check the first index to the every post of a specific current user, and then it will just update the name. So let's go ahead now, and in here curly braces, take this down from here, and here we'll create a string type variable by the name of user profile name in post. So right to this specific string type variable, we're gonna simply just assign the username that we just got. So in here we will say snapshot in here, and then we say .doc, and then with their specific index. Okay, and then in here let's just have that username in here. Okay, and we just successfully assigned that right in this specific string type variable. Now we will just get down, and in here we will say if again, and then we will simply just say user profile name in post that we just created a while ago, in which we just assign the username, okay, with the specific indexes. And right in here we will say if that not equal to the old username that we are passing to this specific method. Okay, that one. So if the username, I mean that one string type variable, in here we just say if that not equal to the old username, only in that case we will just update the name. Okay, so in here curly braces to the every specific post that the user will upload. So in here now we will just create the instance right toward the Firebase Firestore, create that in here right toward the collection, you guys know, items, and then in here .doc, get this down from here, and then in here we'll say snapshot if it's contain the data. So in here we will say doc and with their specific index. Okay, there's going to be multiple posts that the user will upload, so it's going to just have a specific index number, and then in here we will say with their specific ID, so .id in here, and then what we will say right after that, we will say simply just update the name. So get this down from here, and now in in here curly braces, write it and semicolon. Let's get this down from here, and in there we will now just update the name. So first we will just provide the key name, which is username. Okay, right inside the Firebase Firestore, right in the collection of items, and then we say colon, and then let's just have that old username in here. So all the working for that specific method has been completed, and you guys can see that. So it will just simply update the profile name on the every existing post that the user will upload, as I explained this in detail. So it's gonna just update each and every existing post of a user. Right on them, it will just update the profile name of a specific user with a specific index number, as you guys can see in here as I explained this. Okay, and whenever the zeroth index process will be completed, okay, then it will just come back right in here and increment the value, and then it will just go towards the first index. So in this way it's going to simply just update the profile name of an existing post of a user. So basically that's it for this video, and right from the next video we will create another method above the widget bill. Okay, so see you in the next one.